At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine. Passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth's resources to life.
Bear Lake Drug in Montpelier is your full-service pharmacy, including prescription refills and medications. Bear Lake Drug also offers services such as rapid strep test, rapid influenza test, and medication synchronization. Ask your pharmacist for more details at Bear Lake Drug on Washington Street in Montpelier. Visit BearLakeDrugID.com. That's BearLakeDrugID.com. It's your local drugstore and a whole lot more. Bear Lake Drug. Live coverage of Bear Lake High School sports on the SVI Sports Network is presented by Southeast Idaho Steel, a locally owned business making locally produced steel signs and fixtures. Flying as title and escrow, whatever it takes. Stephen Hammond Dental, local family dentistry. Gary Tusher CPA, bookkeeping, tax returns, and payroll, here to help. And by Lenhart Beverages, proud to support the Bear Lake Bears.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign papers and they leave and they're happy, they get the cows. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
Ready, set, 12 days, 10 venues, 1 van. Client presentation starting in 4 minutes. Living your best midlife crisis. Rerouting. There's go in everything you do. That's why Phillips 66 is there to fuel all the ways you go, go, go.
Visit You Save Phillips 66 in Montpelier for fuel, snacks, and more. Live to the full with You Save Phillips 66, where your convenience is our pleasure.
When it's time for a brake job, go with Napa Silent Guard. Built with fiber-reinforced shims and rubber-coated hardware that reduce noise and provide an exact fit for the life of the pad. Available now at Napa. Give your engine the attention it deserves with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Its advanced formulation delivers faster flow and temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions, elevating engine performance by helping it run cleaner, longer. Available now at Napa.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reynolds. I work here at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. I'm a family physician trained in rural family medicine, and then I also do sports medicine. I think what I want you to know more than anything else is that I'm here for you, that I take that duty to you very seriously, and I want to provide you with the information or the guidelines that you need to make a good decision, and that I have your best interest at heart.
At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine. Passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth's resources to life.
Bear Lake Drug in Montpelier is your full-service pharmacy, including prescription refills and medications. Bear Lake Drug also offers services such as rapid strep test, rapid influenza test, and medication synchronization. Ask your pharmacist for more details at Bear Lake Drug on Washington Street in Montpelier. Visit BearLakeDrugID.com. That's BearLakeDrugID.com. It's your local drugstore and a whole lot more. Bear Lake Drug. Live coverage of Bear Lake High School sports on the SVI Sports Network is presented by Southeast Idaho Steel, a locally owned business making locally produced steel signs and fixtures. Flying S title and escrow, whatever it takes. Stephen Hammond Dental, local family dentistry. Gary Tusher CPA, bookkeeping, tax returns, and payroll, here to help. And by Lenhart Beverages, proud to support the Bear Lake Bears.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign the papers and then they leave and they're happy, they get their house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
Softball on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Beautiful for now. We'll see if that holds up. And tomorrow, if you join us, it's not supposed to be nearly as beautiful. It is quite a bit of wind this afternoon, so if you hear that in the microphone, then don't be surprised. But it's a beautiful day. Right now, I'm here alone. So this is just me, Jared Hillier, bringing you Bear Lake softball today. The Bears taking on Marsh Valley. The Bears and Marsh Valley met back in March. In Marsh Valley, the Bears won that game 12-8, and a game that Bears kind of struggled in, and they still got the victory 12-8. So we're hoping that they can turn things around today, play a little bit more clean, and make it so it's not quite as close. The Bears are 5-0 in district play on the season. They won every game they played on the road. They won their one home game they've played so far, which was versus Snake River last week. They got Marsh Valley here today. Westside stepping out of district, coming to town tomorrow. They go to Teton on Friday against stepping out of district, and then they'll finish the year next week with Snake River and American Falls coming to town in reverse order. American Falls will be here first, and then Snake River will be here to finish off the season next Friday, and that will be the end of the regular season. If the Bears win this game today, they'll only have one. They won't have any losses in district with only 2 games left to play. So that puts them in a situation where they can finish no worse than second place, because everybody else will have at least 2 losses, at least a loss on the season. 3 losses on the season, except for Preston, who's only got the 1 to Bear Lake. So a win today, the Bears are guaranteed to do no worse than 6-2. And so even if they lose their final 2, they would be no worse than second place, which is a good place to be in the tournament. You're going to host your first game if you're first or second, and have a good chance to be in that semifinal game. And the Bears know that they can beat everybody because they've already done it at least one time this year in the district tournament. State's a different story. The state is deep this year. This is the one sport that the state tournament is going to be much harder than districts. And for the girls, the state tournament very deep. Teton, who the Bears have already faced this year, Teton came here and won handily 2 weeks ago. They are sitting at number 6 in the state. Bear Lake sitting down at number 13. Preston's actually ranked ahead of Bear Lake in the state rankings, even though the Bears have the head-to-head win. The computers still like Preston better in their season so far, and they have the Bears ranked 13th, and Preston, I think, is 11th, maybe even 10th. If the state tournament were to start today, Bear Lake and Preston would be the 2 representatives from this district, and would go in as the 7th seed for Preston, the 8th seed for Bear Lake. And that would be a tough draw for both teams, as the teams at the top of the bracket are extremely talented, and it would be a very difficult schedule for the Bear Lake Bears and Preston both if they were to go into state the way things stand right now at this moment. But you never know what could happen between now and then. Morgan Armstrong will be in the circle for the Bear Lake Bears when we get things started here in a few minutes. Game time should be about 5 minutes off as the Bear Lake Bears set to take on Marsh Valley. And the rest of the lineup for the Bear Lake Bears, if I can pull it up here real quick, I'll let you know where everybody's playing. Morgan Armstrong is the pitcher. She will be batting first. Down at third base will be Cambria Romrell, who had a home run in Marsh Valley when these two teams played last time. She'll be playing third base today. Peyton Crockett will be today's shortstop. She usually steps into that shortstop position when Morgan Armstrong takes the circle, and she'll be batting third. Lindsay Fisher is the designated hitter today, and Abby Humphreys is the catcher today. Abby will be behind the plate and batting fifth. Brooklyn Pope, your center fielder, batting sixth. Bentley Price is playing second base today. Playing over at first base is Callie Beard. She's done well over there, the sophomore, and she had some big hits the last couple games. A crucial hit the other day that kind of broke the game open against Snake River in that game. Maddie Michael will be the right fielder today. She'll be batting ninth. And Taylinda Clark will be the flex. She'll be the left fielder, and she will be the defensive only player with Lindsay Fisher batting for her. So looks like they're going to do, they're doing the players, talk to the umpire, and I think they're getting ready for a national anthem. Because we're so far away and with the camera unable to see the flag, we're going to pretend it's not happening, not out of disrespect, but because you guys watching at home are like, what's going on? They're just standing there, and why is he being so quiet? So we'll just quietly talk so we're not disruptive. But obviously you won't hear or see the national anthem, which they'll do that. And then we're ready for some softball. Gary Carlson is the umpire today. He's behind the plate. Because of a lack of umpires, he is working this one alone. So I hope all the parents be good. If you hear me drop the headset and run, that's me going to do my AD job because somebody's being mean over Gary's calls. But he's a very experienced umpire, great behind the plate, so shouldn't be a problem. Marsh Valley comes in this game. They are the number 3 team in the district so far. They have got victories over American Falls and Snake River. They lost when they played Preston and Bear Lake. So Marsh Valley would love to get an upset here and move up into second place potentially in the rankings if they can win this game. So, and it wouldn't be a huge upset based on the first game. It was just 12-8 in that one. But it'd still be an upset where the Bears are ranked ahead of them in the max preps and ranked right now standings wise. Bear Lake is number 1, 6-0 in district play. And the other day when I looked at Marsh Valley's record, they were sitting at 500 as far as district play was concerned. I'll look that up real quick while we're waiting to get started here. But the Bear Lake Bears and the Marsh Valley Eagles softball on the air tomorrow. We'll bring you the West Side game. That's a 3:30 first pitch for the West Side game. And then on Friday, we'll bring you baseball. And that is a 3:30 first pitch as well. Today, the Bear Lake Bears, big game for the baseball team. They are in Snake River. And this is a battle for second place in the district. Bear Lake beat American Falls, lost to Marsh Valley. Same thing with Snake River. The winner, and basically you look at the schedules online when it comes to baseball, those two teams are kind of identical. You look at common opponents, you look at rankings, you look at all that, and they have a lot in common. So that one's a big game. If Bears can come away with a victory there in Snake River today, that would put the Bears as the number 2 most likely seed in the district. Preston's not part of the district when it comes to baseball, just softball, and obviously volleyball, which was earlier in the year. And so that's a big game going on up in Snake River. If we get any updates, we'll pass them along and keep you updated on that one. And then their next game is here at home on Friday, and we'll bring you that game live. Like I said, it's a 3:30 first pitch on Friday. So if you want to come on out to the park, could be a cold day, so I don't blame you if you stay home. But if you come on out to the park and join us, remember 3:30 first pitch. So the Marsh Valley Eagles on the year are sitting at 2-11. They're ranked 18th in the state. Bear Lake is actually 14th at 7-9. Preston sits at 10th at 7-8. American Falls is the very last place team in the state. In fact, 18, 19, and 20, Marsh Valley, Snake River, and American Falls. And there's only 20 teams in the state of Idaho in 4A, and they are ranked 18, 19, and 20. So you can tell the top of the state, the rest of the district, is definitely the stronger part of the state this year in softball. And Marsh Valley, just the 2 wins on the season. They beat American Falls 11-1, and they beat Snake River 17-2. So both of their games have been, both their wins have been against American Falls and Snake River. Batting first for the for Marsh Valley today will be Anderson, their catcher. And she will be the first batter for Marsh Valley. She'll be followed by Howell, Foster, and Campbell if they get that far. Morgan Armstrong, the starting pitcher. Morgan Armstrong was the starting pitcher in Marsh Valley when they faced each other before. So the Bears not changing things up. They won their first game. They figured, hey, if it works, you don't fix it. So we're ready for first pitch. Bear Lake Bears, Marsh Valley Eagles. And Armstrong misses inside, ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. Ooh, that one's a great pitch right down the middle. She let it go for a called strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out, nobody on. This is the very first batter. And guess who's here? Lisa. Give her a minute to get her headset on and get ready. But Lisa made it here a little bit quicker than I think she thought. That pitch, pop fly, it's in the air, and Bentley Price underneath it at second base. And first out of the game comes just 3 pitches in on the pop fly to the second baseman, Bentley Price. And that brings up Howell, I believe I said. I got to pull my roster back out here. It is Howell. She is going to be the pitcher today. First pitch in the dirt for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out with nobody on now. In the top of the first inning. And the Bear Lake Bears and Marsh Valley Eagles. In this pitch, second pitch is going to be a foul ball. Looked good at first. The wind knocked that down. It was going to go foul anyway, but the wind really affected that ball on how far it flew. Off the bat, it looked like it was going to be a great hit, and then it just kind of died. So 1 ball, 1 strike now. Here's the pitch, and foul ball again. Foul tip back in the dirt to the catcher. For strike 2. So Armstrong threw a ball on the first pitch to the first batter, ball on the first pitch to the second batter, and everything else has been strikes. And she's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes now with the 1 out. And that one's inside, just missed her. That's a good pitch if you're Morgan. Up and in. If she offers at it, there's nothing she can do with it. And you got a pitch to give right there. Armstrong, the senior. And a pop fly, it's going to get to the outfield, and it's going to go barely over the fence. I think the wind helped that one be by the direction it was going. That one just kept carrying. It got up in the air. It didn't look like it was going to do much, and it goes over the fence for a home run. Into right center field. And both the center fielder Pope and the right fielder Michael were back there, but couldn't do anything about it as they just kept going and going and going. It looked like it was going to drop down to him. It makes him over the fence for a 1-run home run, and it brings up Foster with nobody on. Foster will be the shortstop today, and she's going to line drive that one foul. Down the left field line, goes over by the porta potties over there for strike one. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 in on that home run. And this is another foul ball fielded by the third base coach for the Marsh Valley Eagles for strike 2. So 0-2. Morgan working ahead now in the count. Has a couple pitches to play with here. What she does. And she gets her to hit a pop fly, and it's going to fall. She's going to be a single into right field. So just a little pop fly down the first baseline, carried just far enough that it was in that kind of in-between zone between the right fielder and the first baseman, and goes as a single and brings up Campbell with a runner on now. 1 out and 1 run in. Campbell squares to bunt. Still is the throw's not in time, and it is a called strike. So strike 1, but Foster gets the stolen base. Throw almost got there. So now runner in scoring position with 1 out, 0-1 count. Swing and a miss for strike 2. So welcome back from Pocatello, Lisa.
Thanks.
You got here actually a little bit quicker than I expected.
We drove a little over the speed limit.
Just 1 mile per hour, though.
Just 1.
Swing and a miss, but it's going to be in the dirt, and she'll get to first base safely. And the runner will also advance to third. So a strikeout results in basically the same as a single. You hate to see that. As a pitcher, you get still credit for the strikeout, but you don't get the out. And Peck is now the batter for Marsh Valley. She's squaring to bunt, which she wasn't going to all along. That was just an attempt to get the runner down to second base, and I think he called that one a ball.
Well, I would hope so. It grazed her mask.
It was a little high.
It was pretty inside.
That one's a strike. Called strike there. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 runners on. They're in scoring position at second, third after the stolen base and the drop third strike. So Armstrong needing to work out of a jam here. Like to keep the Marsh Valley just to the 1 run they've already scored. There's a ground ball back to the pitcher. She's just going to go over to first with it. And
oh, no.
They don't get the out. It was a little bit low, and Beer doesn't come up with it. And a run scores on the error. So the Bears should be out of the inning with only the 1 run scoring on the home run, but instead, because of a drop third strike that reached base, and now a error. And again, the stolen base on this one's a strike though. Called strike, stolen base, runners at second and third, still only 1 out. And the inning continues. Everything from here on out is unearned runs because the Bears have actually had the plays to record all 3 outs. That one's a foul ball, so 0-2 count. Barchi, the batter for Marsh Valley. Armstrong still in the circle for the Bears. And it's Abby Humphreys behind the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Pop fly to the third baseman, Romrell. She records the out. The runners will have to stay put. So there is out number 2. So 2 pop fly outs and a ground ball that should have been out. drop third strike. So Bears have already accounted for 4 outs in the inning, but still have 1 more to go. That one's a called strike. Good pitch. Lurcher, the batter. These sounds like Bear Lake names. Barchi, Lurcher.
Yeah.
And Lurcher batting in the 7th spot. Runner still at second, third, 2 out. 2 runs have already scored. That one's just high for ball 1. That was a changeup that just didn't come down far enough to get the called strike.
Just a smidge lower, it would have been perfect.
And there's a ground ball to the shortstop. Crockett over to first base in time. And that's going to end the first inning. So the errors only allow 1 extra run. The home run scores 1. A couple of errors score 1 more. It's 2-0 after the top of the first. We'll be back with the bottom of the first after this on the SBI Sports Network.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign papers and they leave and they're happy, they get their house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back to Bear Lake High School, Ollinger Park, where the Bear Lake Bears taking on the Marsh Valley Eagles. We're headed to the bottom of the first inning. The Bears will bring Morgan Armstrong, the pitcher, to the plate to start the inning. And they trail already by 2 runs. If you're just joining us, a home run and then a couple of errors allowed the Marsh Valley Eagles to score 2. And so that brings Bears to the plate, trailing by a couple. Bears offensively have scored well. They put up 12 runs against these Marsh Valley Eagles over in Marsh Valley. Howell will be the starting pitcher. Anderson, her battery mate, behind the plate. And Morgan Armstrong, the pitcher for the Bears, is the first batter. She'll be followed by Romrell, the third baseman. First pitch, high for ball 1. And having Morgan bat first is kind of an advantage for the Bears. It puts the opposing pitcher in a bit of a pickle because Morgan's strike zone is tiny. And until you get dialed in, it might be hard to find. And she misses with ball 2. That one's low in almost in the dirt, which wouldn't have mattered with nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the first. 2-0 count now. Armstrong can start being a little bit more picky. That zone gets smaller when you get ahead in the count like this. And that's a great pitch for the swing and a miss. Inside corner, belt high. And Armstrong couldn't catch up to it. Armstrong, one of only 2 seniors on the team. The other one is Brooklyn Crockett, her fellow pitcher. And that one's inside. So 3-1, Armstrong again can get picky. With the 3-1 count, she's looking for her pitch and only her pitch where she's still got one to give. And she swings. That one was going to be borderline high, but probably would have been a strike. She swung at it and missed, so it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0, Marsh Valley in the lead. And she struck her out. After falling behind 3-1, she got her to swing at a rise ball and get out number 1. Coming to the plate, Romrell. She had a home run against these Marsh Valley Eagles in Marsh Valley. She'd like to repeat that. If you were watching that game, that's the one I teased her about. It was a wind assisted.
Excuse me. Talk about wind assisted.
And that one's high for ball 1. So far, Howell has had a hard time finding the zone, but when she does, the Bears have not been able to put a bat on it. She started the inning with a strikeout. And Romerell is going to foul that one off into the other field. So foul ball, 1-1 count with one out, nobody on. So both teams recorded outs on their first batter. Bears would like to repeat what Marsh Valley did and go on a rally. Romerell is going to ground that one down the third baseline, foul into the Bear Lake dugout. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitchers count for Howell. And Howell set to come to the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul tip off the catcher's mask and back to the backstop. So we'll do it again. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Romerell just underneath that one. That's why the rise ball is effective. You think you've got a beat on it, and it just keeps climbing in the zone. And that's what can lead to those foul tips and the strikeouts. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt, dropped, but on to first in time. So the drop third strike, but she's out at first. So 2 outs to start the game. And that brings Peyton Crockett, the shortstop who recorded the final out of the inning. Well, the assist on the final out of the inning, the top of the first, hoping to be the first batter to reach base in the bottom of the first. A strikeout and 2 strikeouts so far. Howell has been effective. And Crockett's going to pop that one up. It's going to stay in play for out number 3. It was a pop fly over by the dugout. Bears go in order, 1, 2, 3. We'll go to the top of the second right after this on the SVI Sports Network.
Ready, set, 12 days, 10 venues, 1 van. Client presentation starting in 4 minutes. Living your best midlife crisis. Rerouting. There's go in everything you do. That's why Phillips 66 is there to fuel all the ways you go, go, go.
Visit You Save Phillips 66 in Montpelier for fuel, snacks, and more. Live to the full with You Save Phillips 66, where your convenience is our pleasure.
When it's time for a brake job, go with Napa Silent Guard. Built with fiber-reinforced shims and rubber-coated hardware that reduce noise and provide an exact fit for the life of the pad. Available now at Napa. Give your engine the attention it deserves with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Its advanced formulation delivers faster flow and temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions, elevating engine performance by helping it run cleaner, longer. Available now at Napa.
Bear Lake Bears trail Marsh Valley 2-0 after 1, headed to the top of the second. Nia Call, the right fielder, will be the batter for Marsh Valley. She's the 8th batter of the game for the Eagles. They sent 7 to the plate in the first inning. Only 2 hits, the home run and a blue plop fly, but because of a couple of errors, a dropped third strike and a dropped toss to the first baseman, the Bears allowed 2 runs and 7 batters came to the plate. First pitch was a ball. This one, pop fly foul. So 1-1 is the count. And Armstrong actually had a good inning pitching the first inning. Just the error on the ground ball and the strikeout that turned into basically the same as a single because they didn't get her out on the drop third strike. There's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strike count now on Call. Couple strikeouts and a pop out is all the Bears could manage in their first at bat. Ball 2. This is as I said in the pregame, this is a big game. Marsh Valley would like to have an opportunity to move up to as high as maybe second place if things go well down the stretch. Strucker out. Outside corner, she watched it fly by, and that brings Van Leeuwen to the plate. And she is playing left field today. So the first strikeout of the game that gets actually out after the drop third strike allowed the runner to reach. Ooh, drop ball, just missed. It was close, right at her knees, almost. but Carlson said it dropped down too low for ball 1. Ooh, she wanted it, and he called it a strike anyway. She probably should have gone for it.
Gave her the corner there, I think.
Yeah, inside corner, and she flinched. She wanted to swing, pulled back at the last second. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on. Swing and a miss. That's where the drop ball is effective. She had her beat on that, and then just the bottom fell out of that. There was nothing there to hit when back came around. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Armstrong gets the sign from the dugout, gets set. Here's the pitch. And it's a ground ball. Again, wow, nice stop there by the third base coach.
Great move.
Great moves.
If I'd done that, I'd have busted 2 fingers reaching down there, at least.
I wouldn't have been able to stand back up after bending down that quickly, but we're getting old, Lise.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2 pitch again. That one's high for ball 2. That's one that the changeup just stayed high, didn't come down for her. So 2-2 is the count here in the second. 2 runs in the first for Marsh Valley. Looking for more here. And there's a pop fly. That one's going to fall for what's going to be probably she's going to stay at first. Could have been a double as DeClark just couldn't quite get to it. She had a great jump on the ball, did everything she could to get there. It was just a little bit too short, and it goes as a single for Van Leeuwen. And this takes us back to the top of the lineup. Anderson, the catcher, is 0 for 1. She had the pop fly to Price to start the game. And she's going to hit it into right field. And it gets past the right fielder, Michael. So it's going to go as a double, and a run is going to score. So the little pop flies, 2 of them in a row, they haven't been great hits, but they've been in play. And then misplayed by Michael, and she let it get past her. And so run scores, and Howell is at first. She would have been, Anderson's at first. She would have been safe anyway. Just would have kept her probably to a single. Howell, who had the home run in the first inning at the plate, ball 1. Nice stop there by Humphreys to keep that in front of her. That would have scored a run. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, other than the home run, nothing is hit hard. They've just been bloops, but they've been bloops to holes, and then a couple times Bears have misplayed things. Called strike on that one, outside corner. That's where you want to stay with her. Don't give her anything to hit. That home run didn't look like she really connected with it that hard. It just kind of stayed up there, and I don't know if the wind helped it or if it just had just enough. That was a little bit low for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. And with first base open, you don't mind walking her here. You're not going to give her anything to hit. You're going to stay away from her, and if she happens to swing at a bad pitch, that's fine. But you don't want her to get on, and that one's just high for ball 3. So 3-1 is the count. And that was one of those changeups that just stayed up high, and she didn't offer at it. Here comes Armstrong with the 3-1 pitch, and it's going to be pop fly right to Michael. She's underneath it. A run will still score. She tags from third. So sacrifice fly. So 2 out, but a run does score. As Michael catches it, and that pushes the score to 4-0, but nobody on. Foster at the plate. She had a bloop single into short right field in her first at bat and came around to score. Takes that one just low for ball 1. Ideally, Armstrong would like to start that pitch about 4 or 5 inches higher, so it's still a strike when it comes across the plate. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball into center field. Brooklyn Pope underneath it for out number 3. So 2 outs in a row, but not before they score 2. And the Bears coming up trailing 4-0 when we come back right after this on the SVI Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reynolds. I work here at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. I'm a family physician trained in rural family medicine, and then I also do sports medicine. I think what I want you to know more than anything else is that I'm here for you, that I take that duty to you very seriously, and I want to provide you with the information or the guidelines that you need to make a good decision, and that I have your best interest at heart.
At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine. Passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth's resources to life. At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine. Passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth.
Live coverage of Bear Lake High School sports on the SVI Sports Network is presented by Southeast Idaho Steel, a locally owned business making locally produced steel signs and fixtures. Flying as title and escrow, whatever it takes. Stephen Hammond Dental, local family dentistry. Gary Tusher CPA, bookkeeping, tax returns, and payroll, here to help. And by Lenhart Beverages, proud to support the Bear Lake Bears.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign the papers and they leave and they're happy, they get their house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
And it's 4-0. Ball one, no strikes, nobody out, nobody on here in the top of the third. And Hal throwing really well for Marsh Valley so far. And that was just low for ball two. So 2-0. No walks yet in the game for either team. Armstrong and Hal dueling it out today. Ball three. Very different styles. Hal's an overpowering pitcher, trying to throw everything past you. Armstrong is trying to get you out with her movement and change of pace. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Strike one. So now Hal's Campbell a lot more likely to be swinging with a 3-1 count. You knew she was taking pretty much all the way there on 3-0. So Armstrong set for the 3-1 pitch. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. 3-2 now. Armstrong struck her out with the drop ball in the first at bat that got past the catcher Humphreys. She wasn't able to throw her out at first because of the runner. Struck her out looking. So she struck out twice in the game. This time she actually gets to go to the dugout the first time because of the drop third strike. She reached base safely. Peck, the batter, she grounded right back to the pitcher Armstrong in her first at-bat. Then she reached on an error as the throw from Armstrong it was a soft toss, but it was a little bit low. It hit Beard's mitt and rolled out, and so Peck was safe on the error. And she fouls that one off, so she's down 0-2. Barchi, the third baseman, will be the next batter. And then Lurcher is in the hole if they get that far. 0-2 count with one out. Here's the 0-2 delivery. It's a ground ball past the shortstop and into left field. So that will be, I don't know if you call that one an error. She didn't actually get her mitt on it, but she probably could have, should have. And Peck reaches safely. Barchi will be the batter. Barchi is 0 for 1. And she popped out to the third baseman Romrell in her only at-bat. Squares to bunt, nothing there. And no steal. Ball one. So Peck stayed put even though Barchi squared for bunt. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Again, squares to bunt. This time, did he call that a ball again?
He did, yep.
That one was close enough I had to double check. The first one was a little bit more obvious. So 2 balls, no strikes after 2 fake bunts. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And again, same thing. This time she does go. And, oh, the ball was there, but Crockett doesn't come up with it. And it rolls into center field, so Peck will safely steal second. The throw was there, If Crockett could have come up with it cleanly, then Peck would have been out. Instead, she reaches second safely, and it's 3 balls and no strikes, with a runner now in scoring position. Foul ball. So we're in the top of the 3rd inning, 4-0 Marsh Valley. They've got a runner at second, Armstrong in the circle. The batter is Barchi, and Peck at second base on a 3-1 count. Armstrong delivers. Pop fly into center field. Pope's under it, and no possibility of a tag up for Peck. So it's just going to be the second out as Pope right underneath that one. So far, the wind has not affected these pop flies. I would have expected them to, but so far it hasn't. Lurcher in her only at bat, grounded out. And she takes the first pitch for a called strike. It's 0-1. And Armstrong checks the sign, gets set for the 0-1 pitch. It's a ground ball right back to Armstrong. She comes up, soft toss over to first base, batter out. So not quite 1-2-3, but no runs score. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd right after this in a 4-0 game on the SVI Sports Network.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign the papers, and they leave, and they're happy, they get the house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
That was a fly out to center by Humphreys. She's recorded 3 strikeouts and a couple pop outs, maybe even 4 strikeouts. 4 strikeouts, I believe, out of the 6 outs. And the Bears need to get something going, trailing 4-0. Defensively, they had a good inning. That last inning without allowing any runs, but they need to get their bats alive. Bentley Price, the junior second baseman, will try to do just that, and she takes for ball 1. Even a walk would go a long ways to building some confidence for the Bears and make Howell pitch with some pressure. So far, she's been throwing very confidently, and Price fouls that one off. Over into the other field, into shallow right field. By the time it finally stopped over there on the other field. So here's the 1-1 pitch from Howell. Called strike. Outside corner. Great pitch. So now Howell can throw confidently with a pitcher's count, and Price is going to ground that one down to the second baseman. She can't come up with it cleanly. Bentley Price. And that was a hard ground ball. And that was knocked down by Peck, but she couldn't do anything with it as it spun out of her mitt.
Great job by Price to keep running. I mean, it looked like it was going to be an easy out, but because of the error, she was able to make it cleanly.
Callie Beard, the sophomore first baseman, at the plate. And she's going to ground that one foul ball. Just a little bit behind it, but got a bat on it. So the Bears starting to catch up with Howell a little bit. They're starting to hit the ball, foul tips, that hard ground ball right there from Price, rather than just the strikeouts and the pop-outs. Bears like to continue that as Price, their first base runner, to reach base safely. And that one's in the dirt, and Price is going to be safe at second. She was stealing anyway, so I'm going to give her the stolen base because she was going anyway, but she was able to get there without the throw even being close because the ball did trickle past the catcher, Anderson. Beard flies that one safely into left field, and Price is going to round third and score. And Callie Beard is going to reach second. It was just a single, but on the throw, she reaches second as so the RBI, and Beard reaches second base on the throw. So runner in scoring position now, and coming to the plate is Michael, the right fielder, the freshman, speedster, and low for ball one.
He called it a strike.
Did he call that a strike? I didn't see his, yeah, he did. I didn't see his normal hand motion, and that one's a foul ball. So for strike two. So 2-0-2 count. So Howell ahead in the count. But the sophomore Beard on second base. So if Michael can put one in play, even if she's out at first, it would give Beard a chance to advance. That one's high for ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. 1 run in. 4-1 game. Sometimes all it takes is the first person to get on base to break things open. That's what the Bears are hoping for here. Beard takes that one for ball 2. So 2-2 after getting up 0-2, 2 straight balls for Howell, and it's a 2-2 count. Most likely a more hittable pitch right here, as she's only got 1 more pitch to play with. And that's going to be a pop fly, and it looks like it's going to get out of play over on the net above the bleachers. So Beard's on second at this, after the single. Michael, just a freshman, fights that one off and stays alive. 35 pitches so far in the game for Howell. First 2 innings went 1-2-3. Bears making her work for it this inning a little bit. Drop third strike, and Michael's going to run. She's going to be safe at first.
Yeah, she stepped off the base.
The tag, the throw draws her off the base, and she reaches, and Beard is at third. And the top of the lineup, Morgan Armstrong, who struck out her first at bat, coming to the plate. So Michael got a late start on it, but the throw was off the line. And so runners at first and third now. Michael likely stealing. Let's see if Armstrong's taking. And she's going to square to bunt. She's going to pull back. It's a ball. No throw. Stolen base. So now 2 runners in scoring position. Still nobody out. And a 1-0 count. Armstrong in the box. And the bottom half of the order, bottom third of the order. And there's a drive to left field. And that's going to score 2, and Armstrong is going to go to second on the throw.
Great hit.
So Morgan Armstrong drills it into left field. What a hit. Line drive into left field, scores 2. And just like that, the Bears right back in this game. 3 runs in the inning, still nobody out.
That was a hard hit line drive there. Well, not really line drive. It was in the on the ground.
But just
hard hit.
Ripped that ball between the shortstop and the third baseman, and Armstrong trots into second with the double. 2 runs score with the speed that Michael has at second. You knew that was going to be easy. Price pretty speedy herself, but that was easy to score on that one from third base as she was going on the crack of the bat. And Romrell has a chance now to tie this game up. What looked like after 2 innings, a pretty dominant game. Marsh Valley in control. Bears had yet to have anybody even reach base safely. And now all of a sudden in the bottom of the third, it's 4-3 with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. And that one's low for ball 1. And great stop back there by the catcher, Anderson, to keep that one in front of her, or Armstrong would have been to third base easily. That one's a called strike. So 1-1. Romrell in Marsh Valley, and I believe it was the same pitcher, Howell, hit a home run off of her. So Romrell definitely capable of giving the Bears lead with one swing of the bat. And
Great
she is
hit.
going to tie the game with that one swing of the bat. Romrell into right field, and Armstrong easily scores from second base.
Yeah. Beautiful
The
hit.
line drive single into right field. Armstrong scores easily. And we're all tied up and still nobody out. 4 runs in the inning. And Peyton Crockett, the shortstop, will step into the box. She popped out her first at-bat. Foul ball, pop out over by first baseline. She'd like to keep this one going and swing in a foul ball on that one. So 0-1 count, but the Bears have caught up to Hal. She looked pretty dominant for the first 2 innings, but this inning the Bears have caught up, and the Bears have already scored 4 runs in the inning, still nobody out, and a runner at first. That one's outside, throw down to first, not in time. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out, runner at first. Bears have already scored 4 runs in the inning. As soon as the bats came alive, they really came alive. And Crockett's going to hit a ground ball over to second in time for 1, but not in time for the double play. So it's going to be a fielder's choice. And the out at second base. So 1 out. Still runner at first. And Lindsay Fisher, who struck out in her first at-bat. Swing and a miss there. Nice drop ball, off speed. Dropped out from underneath that swing. So 0-1. And one thing Hal has done really well in this game is she gets ahead in the count. She's worked ahead in the count almost every batter. 1-1. And there, Anderson working hard to keep Crockett close over there. I like the way she pops up and gets the ball quickly back to the pitcher. Keeps the runners a little bit more honest than they are with some catchers. That one's low for ball 2. So 2 balls and a strike to Fisher, who's got some power. She's a backup pitcher. She's the designated hitter today, hitting number 4 in the lineup. And she fouls that one back off her own leg. Foul ball. So 2-2, the count's now even. Still just the 1 out on the fielder's choice that Crockett hit back to the shortstop. That was out number 1, but the Bears have already scored 4 in the inning. Would like to add to it. 3-2, full count. The on-deck batter is Humphreys, who got a nice swing on the ball in her first at bat, but flew out to the center fielder in deep center field. She's the on-deck batter, and she will come to the plate with batters at first and second after the walk. So Abby Humphreys can really break this inning open, even more so already. She had a great hit at her first at bat. With only 1 out, she's coming to the plate again. It was an out, but it was a deep out. So here we go. And a foul ball. Humphreys just underneath it, fouled it over into the other field. Good swing. Just barely got underneath it, fouled it off. 0-1 with 1 out. Runners at first and second. Humphreys would like to do some damage right here. Ball 1. So Hal in this inning has had to be a lot more strategic with their pitching with runners on base. And the Bears have fought their way back in, 4-4 ball game. And foul ball makes Pope in the on-deck circle have to get out of the way. So 1 ball, 2 strike count to the number 5 hitter, the catcher, Abby Humphreys, a sophomore, facing Hal. And that one's in the dirt, but great pickup by Anderson to keep the runners close. So now a 2-2 count. And that was, again, that drop ball, but Humphreys didn't offer at it. She just let it go. And it dropped out of the zone. That pitch has worked for a couple strikeouts for Hal, so it was a good choice there. And 3-2. She misses with the changeup outside. So with no place to put her, you don't want to load the bases in this situation with only just 1 out. She's got to come with something, and Humphreys, a very effective hitter, is going to drill that one. And it hits the bottom of the fence. It's fair. 2 runs will score. And a double. No, only 1 run scores. Crockett came around and scored. It was a single because Fisher tagged up. So Fisher only goes from first to second on the...
I thought we had bases loaded.
Oh, we did have bases loaded. You're right. No.
We
No,
did
it was
not.
just runners at first and second. And it was a single off the bottom of the fence to left field. Pope fakes the bunt and takes ball 1.
It's old Coach Pope over there coaching third base. We think he's on base.
Coach Humphreys on, Coach Pope on third. And there, that one is a bunt attempt, and it's a foul. So what could have really broke the game open on that last hit by Humphreys.
High for ball 2.
Sorry, I'm trying to do the stats, and I got a pitch. I got behind on that last one. So here we go. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Ooh, yeah.
And 3-2, full count right at the knees.
That looked good. Is it 2-2?
3-2.
So.
3-2. Runners at first and second, still just 1 out. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt. Ball 4. Walks the bases loaded. And that brings Bentley Price. The Bears have batted around Bentley Price.
He's saying it was
okay, it was only 3-2.
Yes, now it's 3-2.
So all the runners are going to have to go back because the runners advanced.
Mm-hmm.
That could. So the runners were diving back for bases thinking, oh, well, Fisher advanced to third easily, but Humphreys was diving back for first, but they just put everybody back on their base because it was a mix-up. So 3-2 count. Pope still at the plate. And that's high. That's ball 4. So that's, we could have just left it the way it was. So Bentley Price, who started all this, comes up again. She had the ground ball. Could call it a single, could call it an error, depends on how you want to score it, but doesn't matter. She was the first runner on. She scored the first run, and she comes to the plate with only 1 out, and the base is loaded now. So Price, who started all this at the plate, she takes high for ball 1. No place to put her. Howell's got to come at her. And Bears have already scored 5 runs in the inning. Visit from the catcher, Anderson. She's going to come out and talk to her pitcher, Howell. Try to calm her down a little bit as Howell started to struggle more and more as this inning's gone on. She's already thrown 40 pitches in this inning. 63 pitches in the game. She'd only thrown 23 pitches in the first 2 innings combined. In this 3rd inning, she's already thrown 40 pitches. And things starting to go the Bears' way. Bentley Price's little bloop, well, hard ground ball that she reached base on because it spun away from the second baseman as she knocked it down on the run to start the inning, and now she's back at the plate with a 1-0 count. It's still only 1 out and bases loaded. Bears have already plated 5 runs in the inning. Swing and a miss. That one might have been high, but it was a great pitch. That was more like the pitches that she threw in the first couple of innings. She threw that one with confidence, that rise ball for strike 1. So Howell taking her time, set to come to the plate now, and it's going to be a pop fly. And caught in right field, but the run will score. Humphreys will tag up late. She gets safely to third. So the sacrifice fly
scored a run
and advanced the other 2 runners.
That throw to third was close. It was a good throw.
Humphreys tagged up really late.
Yeah.
She was being waved on as soon as the ball was caught. She tagged up late, but the Bears score another 6 runs now in the inning. Beard, who had a single in this inning already, back to the plate. Batter number 11 of the inning. And she's going to rip this one to right center field. 2 runs will score. Beard into second base with a double.
Great hit.
2-run double by the sophomore Beard. The line drive. And all of a sudden things going the Bears' way. What a hit, scoring the 2 runs. And 8 runs now in the inning. And Maddie Michael at the plate. And she's going to hit it, a little pop fly to the third baseman. That will finally end the inning, but not before the Bears score 8 and take the 4-run lead, 8-4, headed to the top of the 4th.
Ready, set, 12 days, 10 venues, 1 van. Client presentation starting in 4 minutes. Living your best midlife crisis. Rerouting. There's go in everything you do. That's why Phillips 66 is there to fuel all the ways you go, go, go.
Visit You Save Phillips 66 in Montpelier for fuel, snacks, and more. Live to the full with You Save Phillips 66, where your convenience is our pleasure.
When it's time for a brake job, go with Napa Silent Guard. Built with fiber-reinforced shims and rubber-coated hardware that reduce noise and provide an exact fit for the life of the pad. Available now at Napa. Give your engine the attention it deserves with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Its advanced formulation delivers faster flow and temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions, elevating engine performance by helping it run cleaner, longer. Available now at Napa.
You're back.
Back at the Allinger Park field with the Bear Lake Bears taking on the Marsh Valley Eagles. The Eagles dominated the first 2 innings and led it 4-0 after 2. The Bears held the Eagles scoreless in the top of the 3rd and then scored 8 after sending 12 batters to the plate, highlighted by the 2-run double. And got a pitching change. Brooklyn Crockett going to come in and assume the pitching circle. That will move lots of people around. So Morgan Armstrong now moves to shortstop. Peyton Crockett now takes left field. And Taylinda Clark moves over to right field. So I don't think it's going to change the batting lineup at all. I think now Fisher will still be, well, it might. It might put, we'll have to see when it gets to that position. That might put DeClark in the batting lineup for Maddie Michael because of the way they did all the switching. But Brooklyn Crockett now the pitcher. First pitch, swing and a miss. Nice pitch. And this is a great change of pace. Armstrong followed by Crockett is a great switch for the Bears, or they can do it the other way too because they have very different styles of pitching. And a swing and a miss there. And when you go to very different styles of pitching, it's hard to catch up. And Call fouls this one off finally. So still 0-2. So Armstrong gave the Bears 3 strong innings. She really didn't give up that many hits. Just they were little bloops and some errors mixed in. That one's high for ball 1. It's a good pitch, just a little bit high in the zone. You know she can't hit it anywhere, and you hope she offers at it with an 0-2 count. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. And that one's fouled off. So good battle going on down here right now between Call, the right fielder, and Crockett. And Call struck out her first at bat facing Armstrong, and that one's a ball in the dirt. With the pitching change, we switched catchers. Romerell and Humphreys switched places. Oh, just missed. That loads the count. I don't know how she let that one go. I'm not arguing that it was a bad call, but that was close enough that I don't know how you let that one go with 2 strikes. But it's a full count nonetheless. And that's a foul ball. And that was basically the same pitch as Ray's saying in the background. You should have a headset on, Ray.
Yeah.
That was basically the same pitch. She offered it that one and foul tipped it off. So we'll do the 3-2 pitch again. Crockett set to come to the plate. Here's the 3-2. Pop fly. This one is going to stay in play, but over by the fence. And Romrell couldn't get underneath it, so it'll just be a foul ball. So Call, who struck out her first at bat, having a great at bat here, she's working the count, has worked it full. Wind really picking up right now.
Yep.
Struck her out.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah, she did. Struck her out.
Oh.
That was a delayed sign. But he called her out. Van Leeuwen, who I think had a double her first at bat. Yep, she hit it into, just a single, hit it into left field. She started the rally that led to 2 runs in the second inning. She fouls that one off out of play. And if you're wondering how windy it is, we have our Yukon parked in back of us and have a wall on the tent, and it's still this windy. So you can imagine how windy it really is. Foul ball.
Yukon is holding down the
tent.
The tent. We've got the tent tied to the Yukon.
That's why we brought it in here. We had the tent set up without it, and it was starting to blow it away. So we brought the Yukon in, and it's still whipping, but at least our tent is staying up. So here's the 0-2 pitch. Struck her out. Swing and a miss. So Crockett is coming in relief and got the first 2 batters out with a couple of strikeouts. And now we're back to the top of the order. Maya Anderson, the catcher, the batter. She is 1 for 2 in the game. She started the game with a pop out, and she reached on her second at bat. She takes ball 1, and her second at bat was the pop fly to right field. So she takes ball 1. Part of that 2 out, that rally that scored the 2 runs in that second inning. Swing and a miss at that one. That was a good rise ball up high in the zone, and she went at it and couldn't catch up to it. Those high fastballs look tempting, but they're hard to hit. She leaves that one alone for ball 2. So 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the 4th inning. That one drops out of the zone for ball 3, so 3-1 count. Howell, who's got a home run in the game, on deck. The Bears would like to get out of the inning without letting her have a chance to hit. And nope, ball 4. Not a bad pitch, just a little bit low. Howell is 1 for 1. She has the home run, and then she has a sacrifice fly that advanced some runners. So she's 1 for 1. She did get out, but she hit a deep enough ball, it scored a run, so it counts as a sacrifice fly. And she comes to the plate with 2 outs and a runner at first, and first pitch swinging fouls it off the light pole.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen a ball hit the light pole.
You haven't been to as many games here as I have.
Apparently not. I've seen it hit everything else, and that was a line drive to the light pole. Maybe that's just why, because it was like, whoa.
Yeah, she was a little bit behind it. She got good contact, but she was far enough behind it. It line drived it high off that light pole. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ooh, got the strike, and then the throw down to second, not in time. So the stolen base, but it's an 0-2 count. Close. Romero made a good throw. Didn't make it by a lot, but she does get the stolen base, so she is in scoring position. But 0-2 is the count with 2 out. And a ground ball stopped by Humphreys, the third baseman, but she has no choice. Doesn't get it cleanly enough to make the throw, so she just holds the runner at second. So runner Runners at first and second. That brings up Foster, who's 1 out of 2 in the game. Takes high for ball 1. She singled in the first inning, and then she flew out to center field in her second at bat. She fouls that one off for strike 1. 1-1, 2 outs, runners at first and second. The good defensive play by Humphreys to knock the ball down, keep it in the infield on that last one, but she couldn't get it up cleanly enough to get the out. That one's just low for ball 2. Oh no, he called it a strike. Called strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitchers count with 2 out. Just missed high on that one. So now it's 2-2 with 2 outs, 2 on. For runners at first and second. And that one's low. Romerell keeps it in front. Count is full. Bases will be full if she walks her. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. So after getting 2 strikeouts, there's been a walk, a fielder's choice where nobody out but nobody advanced, and another walk on a full count. And all of a sudden Campbell, the center fielder, comes to the plate with the bases loaded.
She can hit.
And a chance to get the Marsh Valley Eagles right back in the game with 1 swing of the bat. She fouls that one off. She has 2 strikeouts in the game, but she is a hitter for sure. Hitting 4th in the lineup. She's the center fielder for the Eagles. Those 2 strikeouts came against Armstrong, the starting pitcher for the Bears. She takes that one high for ball 1. No place to put her, so Crockett's going to have to come at her. Here's the 1-1 pitch with 2 outs, bases loaded. Swing and a miss.
Great pitch.
That was a great pitch in a big moment. So now Crockett can work around her a little bit, doesn't have to get her anything too close for at least a couple of pitches with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Crockett struck out 2. That's in the dirt. It's going to make it to the backstop. No, it hit the batter. Hit her. Didn't look like it hit her, but he said it hit her. I think a run would have scored anyway if it would have just been a wild pitch. So a run does score on the hit by pitch, and that brings the second baseman Peck to the plate. She reached on an error twice. And this time she's just going to single to right field. That's going to score 2 runs, and the runner's going to advance to third. So the line drive to right field, just a single, but it scores 2 with 2 outs. They're going on the pitch, and the runner moves, Campbell moves to third. So after going 2 strikeouts to start the inning, the 2-out rally has plated 3 runs with a runner on third now. Called strike. So 3 runs have scored after 2 strikeouts to start the inning on just 1 hit. 2 walks, a hit by a pitch, and that one's ball 1. And a hit that was knocked down, but nobody gets out on the infield, so a fielder's choice. And there's a ball in the dirt. So the Eagles have just about batted around in the inning. They've scored 3, they got 2 on and 2 out. There's a ground ball out at first. That'll end the inning. Nice play by Beard. She fielded it and stepped on the base to get the out. And that'll end the inning, but not before the Eagles fight back in it. They score 3. We'll be back with the bottom of the 4th right after this on the SVI Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reynolds. I work here at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. I'm a family physician trained in rural family medicine, and then I also do sports medicine. I think what I want you to know more than anything else is that I'm here for you, that I take that duty to you very seriously, and I want to provide you with the information or the guidelines that you need to make a good decision, and that I have your best interest at heart.
At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine. Passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth's resources to life.
Bear Lake Bears lead the Marsh Valley Eagles by a score of 8-7 on the Bear Lake Memorial Healthcare scoreboard. The Eagles scored 3 in the top of the 4th to get back in this one. Morgan Armstrong, who had a 2-run double her last at bat, takes ball 1. She's 1 for 2 on the day. She struck out her first at bat. She had the line drive into left field that plated a couple runs in her last at bat during that big 8-run third inning. Bears hoping to add to that here. And that's a called strike. On the outside corner, nice pitch from Howell. She threw 23 pitches in the first 2 innings. She threw 44 pitches in this third inning. Let's see how she does here in the 4th. That one's in the dirt for ball 2. So as the game has gone on, Howell has struggled a little bit more to hit the strike zone. Still doesn't have too many walks in the game. 2 balls, 1 strike, and there is a fly ball, pop fly. Wind kept that one. It looked like it was going to be deeper, but it just stays in the infield. Pop fly out to the shortstop, Foster, for out number 1. That brings Romrell to the plate. Romrell is 1 out of 2, and her line drive single scored a run in the last inning, and she struck out her first at bat. She takes in the dirt for ball 1. Early in the game, Howell was working from the front in the count. This part of the game, she's working a little bit behind more often, but she's still been very effective. That one is inside for ball 2. So Romrell, a little bit more of a hitter's count now, 2-0. And Romrell had the RBI single, like I said, her last at bat. Swing and a miss at that one. Good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Bears lead it by 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. That's a called strike all the way. That was a good pitch. Looked like it might be a rise ball, and it didn't rise, and so it stayed in there for a strike. 2-2 now. The count is even with 1 out on Romrell. And she belts that one into right field. I think it's going to go foul. It does. That one, on a calm day, might have stayed fair. But on a day like this, you get it in the air at all. The way the wind's blowing right now, it's blowing out to right field. So if you can get it high in the air to like right center, you might get yourself a home run. But that one blows foul. And here's the 2-2 pitch again. This one is a fly ball to center field. Campbell's under it for out number 2. I have to give these outfielders for both teams big props because there's a lot of wind, and the wind can do strange things with the ball, and they've played them cleanly. Peyton Crockett, who's 0 for 2 on the day, but she did reach on a fielder's choice. She got on base because she grounded out to the shortstop. They went to second base and got Romrell instead. So she did come around to score in that 8-run third inning. She takes down in the dirt for ball 1. Down in the dirt for ball 2. Both those pitches have been the exact same pitch, low and inside. And Anderson has had to dive inside just to pick him up off the dirt. So 2-0 count to Crockett. 3-0 count as that one misses. So the Bears would love a chance to start a 2-out rally, and it's hard to do that. 2-out rally as Crockett stands in there, 3-0 count. 4-0. Missed it high. So Crockett reaches base. Lindsay Fisher, who had a big hit in that. No, sorry, she walked. She's not the one that had the hit. Humphreys had the hit as Fisher walked in her last at bat to reach base. So she's 0 for 1 on the game. She takes low for ball 5. 5 balls in a row thrown now by Hal. She's starting to struggle to hit the zone. 1-0 is the count here on Fisher after getting the first 2 batters out on a couple of pop flies. And then that one is in there for a strike, but is fouled off by Fisher. So 1-1 count. Both pitchers, all 3 pitchers I should say, because Crockett now in the game for the Bears, have pitched very effectively in the game. It's been a good game. That one's high, but Fisher offers at it and fouls it away. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runner at first in the form of Peyton Crockett. The junior started shortstop, is currently playing left field for the Bear Lake Bears. Howell in the circle gets the call from the dugout. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and Fisher fouls it off again. Still going to be 1-2. So a battle going on between Fisher and Howell. Fisher won the battle last inning by drawing the walk. Howell's got her down 1 ball, 2 strikes in this inning. And that one's low for ball 2. Great stop back there by Anderson to get in front of that one, or Crockett would have walked down to second base pretty easy, but Anderson keeps it in front. She's got a great arm, so Crockett stays put. 2-2 count, 2 out. Runner at first. At ball 3. Great pitch and great at bat for Fisher, because that was a good rise ball just out of the zone. That's what you want to throw in that situation as a pitcher to get the strikeout. Fisher able to lay off it, and it's a full count, 3-2. And Fisher's going to ground it to the shortstop. She's up with it over to first in time for the out. So the ground ball out at first. Foster makes a good throw. We'll go to the top of the 5th right after this.
Bear Lake Drug in Montpelier is your full-service pharmacy, including prescription refills and medications. Bear Lake Drug also offers services such as rapid strep test, rapid influenza test, and medication synchronization. Ask your pharmacist for more details at Bear Lake Drug on Washington Street in Montpelier. Visit BearLakeDrugID.com. That's BearLakeDrugID.com. It's your local drugstore and a whole lot more. Bear Lake Drug. Live coverage of Bear Lake High School sports on the SVI Sports Network is presented by Southeast Idaho Steel, a locally owned business making locally produced steel signs and fixtures. Flying S title and escrow, whatever it takes. Stephen Hammond Dental, local family dentistry. Gary Tusher CPA, bookkeeping, tax returns, and payroll, here to help. And by Lenhart Beverages, proud to support the Bear Lake Bears.
Take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign papers and they leave and they're happy, they get their house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
Back at the field.
Crockett back in the circle. Coming to the plate is Lurcher. She's the first baseman, the number 7 batter in the order. She takes strike 1. Lurcher's 0 for 2 in the game. She has grounded out twice to the pitcher and to the shortstop. She's down 0-2 as she takes another one for a called strike.
That one looked a little low for her. She's pretty tall, but
he's been consistent at that low end of the strike zone. She's going to ground out to the pitcher again. Crockett up with it. So 3 ground balls, 3 outs for Lurcher in the game. And Call will come to the plate. Call has got 2 strikeouts in the game. Those were both against Armstrong. 8-7 is the score. Bears lead it by a point. And a ground ball to the shortstop. Armstrong up with it in time. Over in first. Great play by Beard. Makes a great stretch.
Great stretch.
Those are the kind of plays that, you know, when you look at the stats, a 1-pitch ground ball out to the shortstop doesn't look like much, but Armstrong made a good strong throw and Beard made a good stretch to keep her foot on the base. That brings Van Leeuwen up. And she's going to ground to Beard.
Great job by Beard.
Just 5 pitches in the inning. And Beard has ended 2 innings that way. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5th right after this.
We take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign papers and then they leave and they're happy, they get the house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
Okay. Abby Humphreys at the plate to start the bottom of the 5th for the Bears. The Bears have the 1-run lead. Humphreys has absolutely crushed the ball, both at bats. Flew out to deep center field in her first at bat, hit the fence on her second at bat, and that was into the wind because it was into left field. So Humphreys, who's hit the ball hard, fouls that one straight back, just barely underneath it to start the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th inning. So the Marsh Valley Eagles have spread their runs out. They scored runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th innings. Oh, nice pitch. Changeup drops in there for a called strike. The Bears did all their scoring in the 3rd. No runs in the 1st, 2nd, or 4th. And we have an 8-7 ball game. Bears in the lead by just a point. That one's in the dirt for a ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Pope on deck for the Bear Lake Bears, who lead it by 1 run. Humphreys fouls that one off. It stays alive. Still remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good pitcher and a good hitter battling out right here. And we're battling the wind.
Yeah.
And there's a
great hit.
Line drive to left field. Over the left fielder's head. It's going to be a double to the fence. She jumped for it, but it was just too deep for her. And the double off the fence.
Great hit by Humphreys.
And Humphreys has just crushed the ball in this game. All 3 of her hits have been hard. The first one hung up in the wind just a little bit and was an out. The other 2 have hit the fence on the fly. Pope, who's 0 for 1 in the game. Swing and a miss. She was over the top of that one. She struck out and walked in her 2 at-bats. Just missed. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. Runner at second. Bears would like an insurance run here. Extend that lead. Still a close game. Anybody's game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. She's over the top of it again. I think she's anticipating the rise ball, and she's swinging over the top of him.
Coach is explaining that to her. Swing down, swing level.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good eye.
That's ball 2. Good pitch by Hal. Just missed outside. That's where you want it. is just out of range where they're not going to be able to do anything with it if they offer at it. 2-2 count. Strikeout and a walk. This is kind of the and that one is in the dirt, and Humphreys will be down to third easily. That's one where Pope maybe coulda, shoulda let it hit her.
Shoulda, coulda.
Shoulda, we'd have runners at first and second with nobody out, but she got out of the way, fouls this one back, so she stays alive.
Way to battle.
3-2 count. We'll say this: if she
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
If she
coulda,
reaches,
shoulda, woulda.
If she reaches base safely, she made the right choice. If she gets out, she should have worn it. It's easy to say from out here in center
From
field,
someone
right?
who doesn't have to wear it.
Swing and a miss. She should have worn it.
Yep.
So she strikes out after stepping out of the way, dancing out of the way of what would have been a hit by pitch. Brings up Bentley Price. Bentley started the 8-run rally. She reached base twice in the inning. She had the single, and then she sacrificed fly to score a run in that 8-run inning. So she did the damage twice with the bat, and called strike, good frame. Outside corner,
outside
and Anderson did a good job of framing it and bringing it back in.
Yep.
Good catcher can do a lot.
Yep.
Runner at third with one out. Price fouls it off for strike 2. So Howell, who struggled a little bit to get ahead in the count in the 3rd and 4th innings, now working from ahead in the count here, 0-2 on the last, and on both batters since Humphreys had the double. And that one's in the dirt, and Humphreys is going to score. Humphreys scores from third on the ball in the dirt. So the wild pitch plates a run, and with 1-2 count, the Bears' lead is 2. Price of the plate, nobody on now, and just the one out. On deck is Callie Beard, who had a huge hit in that 8-run 3rd inning. Price fouls it off again. Every once in a while, the wind dies down just a little bit. Right now, it's not as bad.
And then you say that, and the wind
wood.
picks right back up.
High, ball 2, sorry. Great at bat for Pope to work the count, and again for Price to work the count. Both of them were able to force at least one wild pitch in there at bat, which is what scored the run. Sometimes you can do a lot of good at the plate without actually hitting the ball. Mm-hmm. And she's now worked the count full at 3-2. So Price having a good game.
Not to mention that the more pitches you can get your pitcher to throw, the more tired their arm becomes.
And she's at 106 pitches in the game, 18 in the inning here in the 5th. And she's going to single to center field. Nice little line drive right over second base. I'm having a hard time right now. If we have to decide the player of the game, the steel man of the game, at this point,
it's going to be tough.
Gritty player of the game, these two players right here, Bentley Price, who's down at second now with her second hit of the game, and Callie Beard, who's 2 for 2. She has not been out yet in the game. And
Not
she's
to mention Callie's had some great defensive plays.
She had, and she's going to ground to the pitcher. She's going to go to second for the out. Does get the out. So she chooses to take the lead runner at second. Gets the out.
Good choice by Howell. Stay ahead of the.
Don't let that runner get to scoring position.
Yep.
And this brings up. Is that Maddie Michael?
I can't tell.
No, it is not. It's Brooklyn Crockett. So Crockett is batting now as the pitcher. She subbed in as the batter.
Strike 1.
And she takes a called strike. So Beard the runner at first with 2 out, strike 2. Great pitch there, belt high, inside corner. So 0-2 is the count. Bears have scored a run in the inning. Howe would like to keep it at just 1 run with the 0-2 count. And she struck her out, swing and a miss. So that'll end the inning, but the Bears do get 1. Humphreys led off with a double, and she came around to score on a couple wild pitches. The Bears take the lead 9-7 into the top of the 6th.
Ready, set, 12 days, 10 venues, 1 van. Client presentation starting in 4 minutes. Living your best midlife crisis. Rerouting. There's go in everything you do. That's why Phillips 66 is there to fuel all the ways you go, go, go.
Visit You Save Phillips 66 in Montpelier for fuel, snacks, and more. Live to the full with You Save Phillips 66, where your convenience is our pleasure.
When it's time for a brake job, go with Napa Silent Guard. Built with fiber-reinforced shims and rubber-coated hardware that reduce noise and provide an exact fit for the life of the pad. Available now at Napa. Give your engine the attention it deserves with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Its advanced formulation delivers faster flow and temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions, elevating engine performance by helping it run cleaner, longer. Available now at Napa.
Anderson, the catcher, come to the plate to start the 6th inning. She popped out her first at-bat, she doubled on her second at-bat, and she walked, which started the 2-out rally that ended up scoring 3 runs in her last at-bat in the 5th. Here she comes to the plate in the top of the 6th with nobody on, nobody out. Brooklyn Crockett in the circle, and the Bears leading it by 2 at a score of 9-7. Howell on deck and Foster in the hole for the Marsh Valley Eagles. Here's the first pitch, and it's going to be a ground ball. And Price can't handle it down at first base. And Anderson is on. Hard ground ball. Tough to have to give Price an error on that one because that was a hard ground ball. It coulda, shoulda, woulda. But it goes as safe at first. Lydia Howe, who is the pitcher so far in the game. She has a sacrifice fly, a home run, and a ground out in the game. And ball 1 and a stolen base. And Anderson was there safely before the
She's
throw.
emptying the sand out of her pants.
When you slide head first, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So Hal now with a runner in scoring position. Like I said, she's already got a home run in this game. Her first at-bat was a solo home run.
Oh,
and
what a
that's
hit.
going to be a line drive foul into right field. So 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Runner at second. Hal has pitched the whole way. She has only given up runs in 2 innings, 8 in the 3rd and 1 in the 5th. She's pitched very effectively in this game, and she's now the batter trying to help herself out from the plate. And she's going to foul that one off. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, nobody out. Runner at second, 9-7 on the Bear Lake Memorial Healthcare scoreboard. Bears lead it. Marsh Valley looking to tie it up. And that's going to be a little pop fly. Morgan Armstrong, what a play. Shortstop covered a lot of ground to get the out. And the nice play by Armstrong to run over behind the third base line to record that out. And a called strike now to Foster. Foster in the game is 1 out of 2. And she had a walk during that 2-out rally last inning. Ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner down at second base in a 2-run ball game here in the top of the 6th. This one's been fun from the start. Bears have had a 4-run lead. Marsh Valley's had a 4-run lead. And Armstrong, what a play. I'm going to call that an infield single because there's no way she gets the out, but by knocking it down and keeping that one in front of her, it saves the runner from advancing. What a play by Armstrong. If that ball gets through, Anderson's at least at third, if not scoring, on a hard ground ball. Campbell, now the batter, she is 0 for 2, and she lays down a bunt. It's going to be a foul ball. That was a bunt attempt for a single. She's not bunting there as a sacrifice in that situation, I don't think. It looked like she was bunting for a base hit. So Campbell was hit by a pitch that scored a run in her last at bat. She squares to bunt again, and it's foul. I mean, fair this time. Beard gets the out.
No.
Yep, he called her out. He said she got back down in time. So sacrifice bunt is successful, but she is out. So nice throw there from Romrell to Beard. Beard made a nice play again to catch the ball and get down on the high throw, and she got down just in time. So now Peck, who's 1 out of 3 in the game, has a chance here with 2 out. That one is low for ball 1. Peck, in that 2-out rally last inning, singled to drive in a couple runs. A single here would plate 2 with 2 out. They'll be moving on the crack of the bat. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's fouled off, out of play. So 1-1. It's been an entertaining softball game for sure. Both teams have played pretty good softball. Bears struggled a little bit defensively early, but have settled in. Oh, ground ball straight up the middle. It's going to score 2. Pope will have no choice but just to come to second. 2 runs will score. On the hard ground ball right up the center. The single plates 2 runs. And then on the deep grass here in the early spring, no chance on making that play, especially with 2 outs because the runners were going on the pitch. So we're tied at 9. Another 2-out rally going on here for the Eagles. Strike 1 there to Barchi. Barchi is 0 for 3 on the day. She popped out, flew out, and grounded out in the game. That one's low for ball 1. 1-1 count, 2 outs. Runner is at first. That would be the go-ahead run at first. And she fouls it down to the dugout on the first base side. So now a 1-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. 9-9 game here in the top of the 6th. Bears would like to keep it that way heading to the bottom of the 6th. And there is a fly ball. Peyton Crockett in her tracks, doesn't even have to move, ends the inning. So Marsh Valley scores 2 and ties it at 9. Bears coming up in the bottom of the 6th right after this on the SBI Sports Network.
Bear Lake Dental in Montpelier is where kindness and dentistry meet. Our friendly, talented team have years of experience in providing compassionate service and high-quality dental care. Dr. Micah Himmerick, Dr. Monty Weston, and a full staff of dental experts are here to help you create a new smile. Visit Bear Lake Dental at 215 South 4th Street in Montpelier, online at bearlakedental.com, or give us a call at 208-847-0153. Bear Lake Dental, creating happy, beautiful smiles.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reynolds. I work here at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. I'm a family physician trained in rural family medicine, and then I also do sports medicine. I think what I want you to know more than anything else is that I'm here for you, that I take that duty to you very seriously, and I want to provide you with the information or the guidelines that you need to make a good decision, and that I have your best interest at heart.
Morgan Armstrong, the batter to start the 6th inning, leadoff hitter for the Bears. She's 1 out of 3. She has a strikeout, a pop fly out, and a double. And that double was big. Scored a couple runs, and then she came in to score a couple batters later in that 8-run 3rd inning for the Bears. Trying to start the Bears off in a tie game, 9-9. We're 6.5 innings into this one. We are right where we started it, a tie. Swing and a miss at the rise ball for strike 1. So this has been a battle between these two all day long. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 0-1 pitch, and it's a high fly ball, foul ball, and it's going to go out of play.
Wow.
Long run there for the left fielder, Van Leeuwen.
And as high as that was, and it made it out as far as it did.
In this
Can you
wind?
imagine if it would have been more level?
And
It'd
no
have been
wind.
gone for days. We wouldn't have found it.
So 1-0-2 pitch right here with nobody out, nobody on. Start of the 6th inning for the Bears.
There
And that
it
one is fly ball is going to stay in the air. Nobody's going to get to it, though, as Van Leeuwen
Great
makes
effort.
a great effort for it. And in at second with the double, Morgan Armstrong. What a play.
Slide was underneath the tag. A great play.
And then the ball trickled away anyway, so with the great hit there to start the inning, and that one the wind knocked it down. I think Van Leeuwen thought she had a beat on it, and the wind just kept making it more and more shallow.
She made a great diving effort for it.
Romrell will now be the batter with a runner in scoring position. She's 1 out of 3 on the day. Playing catcher now. She started the day at third base. Ground ball. Oh, error on the first base coach, Humphreys. Off the glove into right field.
And he's shaking his hand. I don't know how he's feeling about that attempt.
See, that's why I never.
That's why you don't. That's
I
why
never
you
made
dive
those
out
attempts.
of the way.
Yeah, you just get out of the way. Don't be the hero. So error on the first base coach, and it's 0-1. Another foul ball, 0-2. Romrell on the day has got a single to left. She flew out to center, and she struck out. Those are her 3 plate appearances. And that single to center came at that 8-run third inning. She has a chance to give the Bears the lead back right here with nobody out and a runner at second in the speed demon, Morgan Armstrong. Outside. Wow. Whew. Ball.
Kind of swung.
with an 0-2 count. I don't know how you let that one go.
Good
but
for her.
She was right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. She came inside on her that time, and she couldn't lay off and struck her out.
I think that was more of a defensive swing.
Peyton Crockett, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. She has a pop out, ground out, and she walked in this game. And that's going to be a hard ground ball to second base, over to first in time. Armstrong does advance. On the hard ground ball to second baseman, Armstrong advances to third, but there's 2 outs now. Fisher, who's 0 for 2 and has a walk in this one, coming to the plate. She's hit the ball twice, but a ground out and a pop out. Her only time on base was the walk back in that 8-run inning. That's a called strike, and that's right, that same pitch.
Yeah, that looked really similar.
To the ball on Romrell. 0-1. In the dirt, but nice stop by Anderson, ball 1. She keeps it in front, otherwise a run scores. Armstrong, the senior, is aggressive and fast at third base. So ball past the catcher is likely a run scored here. Ball 2. So high and away after taking the first one for a strike. The second and third ones have been balls. So Fisher up in the count now, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah.
Oh, same pitch, called strike. That's the same as strike 1, the exact same pitch as strike 1, and she let it go again, and it's now 2-2. I'd look for it again. If I'm Hal, I throw that pitch again. She's let it go twice, and it would end the inning if she can get the strikeout.
Oh.
And she went to with the rise ball and struck her out anyway, swing and a miss. So the Bears get a leadoff double but can't get the run in. We go to the 7th in a tie game, 9-9. We'll be back with that right after this on the SVI Sports Network.
At Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, it's not only about mining phosphate for production of crop nutrients that support western U.S. farmers and ranchers. It's about supporting our employees, neighbors, and local communities and their families. From providing quality competitive jobs to being an active partner in our local communities. Simplot Smoky Canyon Mine, passion for people and supporting local families by bringing Earth's resources to life.
Bear Lake Drug in Montpelier is your full-service pharmacy, including prescription refills and medications. Bear Lake Drug also offers services such as rapid strep test, rapid influenza test, and medication synchronization. Ask your pharmacist for more details at Bear Lake Drug on Washington Street in Montpelier. Visit BearLakeDrugID.com. That's BearLakeDrugID.com. It's your local drugstore and a whole lot more. Bear Lake Drug.
Bottom third of the order due up for the Marsh Valley Eagles in a tie ball game, 9-9, top of the 7th inning. Somebody's got to win it, or we're going to go extras.
We don't want to go extras.
Lurcher, the leadoff hitter, is 0 for 3 in the game. She's grounded back to the pitcher twice and grounded to the shortstop once. So she's hit the ball 3 times, but she's hit it right at somebody all 3 times, and she is the leadoff hitter here in the top of the 7th inning for Marsh Valley to tie game 9-9. Here's the pitch from Crockett to start the inning, and it's going to be a little looper, just hard enough that Armstrong can't get over there to catch it. Leadoff single. Call it a line drive, I guess, because it really didn't go that high. And his single starts the inning. And now Call comes to the plate. Call 0 for 3 in the game. She has struck out twice and grounded out. She takes the called strike. Squared to bunt. Lurcher didn't go anywhere, and she took the pitch for a strike. So 0-1 count with the runner at first. This is a bunt, and it's going to be a good one out at first, but the runner advances. And Romerell makes the good throw down to Beard to record the out, but Lurcher now in scoring position with Van Leeuwen, who's 1 for 3 in the game. She does have a single on her first at-bat, then she struck out and grounded out in her other 2 at-bats. And she went at that one, strike 1. Tried to hold up, but she couldn't. And it's 0-1. That one's just low. 1 ball, 1 strike. So here's the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be a ground ball, foul ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Go-ahead run down at second base in the top of the 7th inning with 1 out. And the top of the order coming up next. There's a ground ball over to shortstop. And she's going to get the lead out.
Great job.
Great play by Morgan Armstrong. Faked the throw to first. The runner started to go, and she got her out. Nice play by Morgan Armstrong to get the out unassisted. And so the go-ahead run is now at first instead of at second, with Anderson, who's 1 out of 3 on the day, at the plate. And she's going to hit a pop fly out.
Great job by D. Clark.
I'm not sure if it was fair or foul, but DeClark catches it anyway. And the inning is over. So the Bears will either win it
or go into extra
innings. We'll do that right after this on the SVI Sports Network.
Live coverage of Bear Lake High School sports on the SVI Sports Network is presented by Southeast Idaho Steel, a locally owned business making locally produced steel signs and fixtures. Flying S Title and Escrow, whatever it takes. Stephen Hammond Dental, local family dentistry. Gary Tusher CPA, bookkeeping, tax returns, and payroll, here to help. And by Lenhart Beverages, proud to support the Bear Lake Bears.
take all the decisions and explain them and make it easier for everybody to understand.
We bring a uniqueness to it, and we try to make sure everything is positive and happy and people have a good experience.
People come in and sign papers and they leave and they're happy, they get their house. I like that.
When we hand you that deed to your home, there's not going to be anything that's going to come up later that's going to hurt.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
Abby Humphreys, the batter, she has crushed the ball all 3 times she's been at the plate. She flew out to center field in her first at bat, and the other 2 balls hit the fence on the fly in her second and third at bats. So Humphreys represents the winning run as she comes to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. The Bears only need 1 to end it. Hal's gone all the way, and she pitches that one high for ball 1. Pope and Price on deck and in the hole.
It's cold.
It's starting to cool off. It's supposed to be pretty nasty tomorrow. We'll see. High for ball 2. Humphreys very patient. And in this situation, Hal doesn't want to walk her because that represents the winning run on base. But don't give her too much because, ooh, that one's high, 3-0. Now Humphreys can swing for the fences. As a coach, you're kind of like, okay, this is maybe the best contact hitter on the team, so turn her loose. But at the same time, if she gets on base, she's got enough speed to score. 4-0. She walked her on 4 pitches. Pope coming to the plate. She is 0 for 2. She struck out twice and walked. Likely trying to lay down a bunt here, move Humphreys into scoring position to give Price and Beard a chance to win the game. And I think we're going to have a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter or pinch runner? Pinch runner.
Yeah, so he'd have to make a substitution here.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Because she's been playing third.
And I don't know who is that Taylin running? I don't know
who
it can't be Taylin running because she is, I couldn't see who it is, but Taylin is playing left field, so she can't be a runner. And it is a bunt, and it's going to be a sacrifice bunt out at first, but over safe at third.
It worked, it worked.
It is to Clark. Wow.
Great gutsy call by the coach.
She absolutely flew around the bases. What a play. So now the winning run is at third. And by the way, that was just barely out at first.
What we doing? What? Oh, moving in his infield. Gotcha.
And Price just won the game.
Yep.
Walk-off, Bentley Price, walk-off double.
Great
Humphreys
job.
scored easily from third, and that ends it.
Great job.
And my iPad froze up, but Bentley Price with the walk-off single. Bentley Price, that cemented it. She's our player of the game.
Yeah. It was between her and
Callie Beard.
Callie Beard today, and I think you're right. I think that cements it. But great effort by all of them. Wow. Way to stay in it.
So, wow. Great play by the Bears on the bunt. The bunt, sacrifice bunt, and she reaches third. That's why you put the speed out there as your pinch runner. And then on the single to right field by Bentley Price, the line drive. Actually, it was a double. She reached second base, even though, because everybody kept playing, even though it was the game-winning run. Give her the double, And that's the game. Bears win it in 7 by a score of 10-9. What a game.
And more importantly, stay undefeated in league play.
Move to now 7-0.
Yes.
6-0 in league play. And that was big because Marsh Valley is sitting there just one game out of second place, right behind Preston. And the Bears now have American Falls and Preston left to play. If they beat American Falls, the worst the Bears can do is a tie for first. If they can beat both teams next week in the games that count, the Bears will finish the regular season undefeated. The walk-off by Bentley Price, what a day for her.
Yeah.
She hit a single to start the score. The first hit of the game for the Bears was a single. She had a sacrifice fly, another single, and a double. She went 3 for 3 on the day with a sacrifice fly. Offensive MVP of the day for sure, although some other players had some great games. Abby Humphreys had a fantastic game
day.
Hitting the ball.
Morgan Armstrong had a great hitting day as well.
Yeah, she was on base quite a bit, but you got to give it to Bentley. Her hits were in key moments. She started the hitting, and if she wouldn't have got that last hit, Callie Beard, fantastic defensive day. She had some huge plays over at first base, and she also hit the ball well. She was 2 out of 3 on the day. So those two, your 7 and 8 batters in the lineup were your MVPs of the day, and great game. Good game by Marsh Valley. Hal is a pitcher. She's going to keep them in a lot of games.
Don't count them out. I mean, we've seen it before. You know, teams like this come back in district play and end up doing really, really well. So, anyway.
We're going to try to get Coach Pope. We got his attention. He's going to come over here and put on a headset. We'll make him talk to me for a minute. We told him to a couple other games. He just didn't make it here until this one. But we're going to get the head coach, Quinn Pope, to come out here and talk to us. All right, Coach Pope, first time this year I've got you out here.
Yes.
Most of the time it's been my fault. Weather has got me out here pretty quick. Hey, congratulations. That was a big win for a lot of reasons. First of all, you moved to 6-0 in district, and at this point, pretty much the worst you can do is second place. One more win, and you're guaranteed a tie for first place in the district, and then we'll have to go to tiebreakers, and they get complicated. But 2 more wins, and you're district champions outright. And secondly, your team fought. Down 4-0 early, and those first 2 innings, it looked like Hal had your number. Nobody even put a bat on the ball, it seemed like, in the first 2 innings, except for Abby Humphreys, who had the fly out. And then all of a sudden, Bentley Price comes through, gets a base hit, and exploded from there. 8 runs in the third. You've added a few more as the game went on with the walk-off, also from Bentley Price.
Yes, it was all year. It's been somebody different doing something small on our winning games. It's always been a team effort. There's no one person that's carried us through any one game. We've been stressing that all year. We still haven't played our best softball, which is encouraging. We want to do that at the right time. Huge. It was, everybody played a part in this one, and it was probably the most exciting game I've ever coached.
That was that last first to third on the bunt. First of all, gutsy call from the coach. Good job, coach. Secondly, BP, your daughter, Brooklyn, laid down a perfect bunt. Could not have put that in a better spot. She almost ran it out, was almost safe at first herself. And then thirdly, Taylinda Clark is absolutely insane how fast she went first to third on that.
And that's the thing, is everybody, that's going back to everybody has done their part. Brooke struggled. She struck out twice, and we thought about DHing or subbing there, and things worked out. We got a runner on first. She did her job, laid down the bunt. We did the sub with Taylin. Taylin's going to fly. If the ball's in place, she's taking 2, if not 3. It just takes a team, and that's we have the tools. These girls are softball players, and they all have their own special tool that comes in handy at certain times.
Yeah, Marsh Valley actually played that perfectly defensively.
They did.
The catcher, Anderson, came up, made a great throw to first. The first to third throw was online and perfect, but Taylin is just insane. And the speed actually came into play twice. The play that ended their inning,
Yes.
Was that foul or fair? I couldn't tell from over here.
It was on. I think it was just fair. It would have been fair, yeah.
And probably would have been a double, would have given them the lead for sure because they had a runner on base. And to make that catch on the run, and then that first to third was insane. I'll say that the coach that you coached with in varsity a couple years ago probably taught you that, right?
Yeah, we can go with that.
No, that was a great call, Coach. I'm not going to take any credit whatsoever. That was a fantastic call. When you first were subbing out Abby, I'm like, Abby's a pretty good base runner. What is he thinking? And then I realized.
Abby's one of the headiest base runners we have, but she's not tail in.
No, nobody is. I would dare say she's maybe top 5 in the state going from first to third as far as speed at this level. She absolutely is insane. And for a sophomore, she's pretty smart on the base pass too.
Yeah, we told her as a freshman, this is going to be probably a role that you can take, but you got to be smart. You can be fast, but you can run yourself into outs. So she's taken that to heart as a freshman and brought it to this year, and it's a huge asset for us.
The other big shout out got to give. First of all, we gave Bentley Price the gritty player of the game just because she came through at the plate. She was actually 3 for 3 because the only time she got out was a sacrifice fly that scored a run.
Yep.
Callie Beard was our honorary mention. She had an incredible day defensively. Had 3, I think, unassisted putouts.
Yeah.
She made a couple of great plays with throws that were offline, but she was able to snag them and with a good stretch get the out anyway. And then she was 2 out of 3 at the plate and big hits in big moments.
There's not many hitters that see the ball like Callie Beard. She battles. She doesn't miss a ball very often at all. I bet if you go back and look, I bet it's less than 5 that she's actually swung and not at least got a foul ball. She's really a good softball player, like all the others.
Yeah, you're in a great situation. Your 2 seniors pitched today. Both of them came through and had some good innings. In fact, they really didn't pitch. I mean, you look at 9 runs given up and you think, oh, that was an okay pitching. More of it was like little bloop hits here and there and some seeing eye hits and then a couple of fielding errors. Mm-hmm. So even though they gave up 9, your pitchers, which are your 2 seniors, were pretty good today. But it was the underclassmen, a couple of juniors and sophomores that came through with the offense, which was fantastic today.
Yeah, they really are trusting each other, and that's the biggest thing is our identity we've decided is hustle and grit.
Oh, absolutely.
And just doing their part. I know you coached a couple years ago, and it was the 1/9. We incorporated that. Let's do our 1/9, and let's go after these teams as a team, and good things will happen.
Absolutely. So tomorrow night, just really quick, you got Westside here on what probably is not going to be great weather.
Yeah.
But you got the Westside Pirates coming to town, former district rival. Always a fun game. I always loved coaching against Westside. Their coaches are fantastic. Should be a fun game.
Yeah, lots of respect for the Wades. They're great coaches and great people.
All right, thanks, Coach, for coming out.
Thank you.
Weather permitting, we'll talk to you after tomorrow's game, but good luck tomorrow, and then Teton on Friday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
you guys.
Okay, there's Coach Quinn Pope. After the big win, the Bears come from behind. They trailed 4-0 early, and they took the lead 8-4 after the 3rd inning. Marsh Valley fought back in, tied it up, forced us to go to the 7th. The walk-off by Bentley Price. The Bears get the big 10-9 win. So for Ray Henry, who has frozen to death as our cameraman a couple times this year, didn't blow away today doing the camera work. Duke Dance, who started us off as the producer before Lisa could get here, and Lisa, who did a fantastic job once she was able to get back from her out-of-town trip, and everybody else on the SBI Sports Network. This is Jared Hillier saying good night, everybody.